What's up, guys? Welcome back to Boxing X-Ray. Today, we're gonna dive in the situation a bit more and kind of give you guys a better understanding in why we have the marginalized view between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, if Tyson Fury allegedly cheated or not, and this is the main reason why we have the marginalized view, and it's usually because of the media. The media actually come up and they cover the story for the fighter who actually proclaim that they have a problem with a certain scenario, and most of the time the fighter doesn't really get their fair shake on it because they don't really get a chance to actually tell the full story because you have the media seeing one thing and the fighter is saying another thing, which create a marginalized view. And most of the time it's the commentators who are actually speaking on it, and the fighter doesn't really get the chance to come up on the same platform and actually speak on the matter publicly because maybe the media does not want them to speak on the matter publicly because it actually make a certain personnel look bad. Now, this is just my opinion on the situation. This is probably just how I think about it. Now, in 2018, I think Top Rank and ESPN actually signed a contract, and for them to be allies, and Top Rank story is now going to be covered by ESPN. Now, with that being said, most of the fight that happened on Top Rank, the media personnel on ESPN actually comment on it. And what I want people to understand here, in the media, as a personnel, you have these big personnel says they give unbiased opinions, and you got to understand they work for a corporation. So how can your opinions be unbiased when you have the company? You have to operate within the company's best interests. Come on. Even the average conversation have some form of biased opinion in there, because in order for you to have an argument, you have to have some form of favoritism going on. So if you look at a scenario, most of the time these media personnel, in my opinion, do have a biased opinion, because most of them are up there are actually fighters, and they understand that your wrist cannot bend in a 50-degree angle. And the videos have been surfacing that Tyson Fury glove was bending in a 50-degree angle. If you can look at it, there's some videos I pulled up here. You can look at it yourself. How can you get your wrist to perform in that manner? It's not possible, guys. The reason why that's not possible is because inside of your hands, there's a bone that's connected to your wrist, and it's called the ulna. Most fighters actually fractured their ulna before, including myself. I actually fractured my ulna, and mostly because you did not punch in a straight manner. This is mostly why we actually fractured our ulna, or we use the hand to block a punch, or we try to throw a fist and the hand was not in the perfect form in which we're supposed to throw the fist, which actually make the hand bend or flex in a manner that is not supposed to bend and flex in, and we would fracture our ulna. So if our wrist is not straight, it increases the risk of actually bending and flexing the ulna. So you increase your chance of having a fracture or a broken ulna. And most fighters, you can ask them, they actually fractured their ulna before. I fractured mine, and this is when I was learning how to, use my straight right hand throw it in the right manner it's supposed to be thrown. And I attempted a couple of times and I didn't do it right, and I actually fractured my ulna. It took me about 8 months to heal, and after that 8 months to heal, I still couldn't throw a perfect right hand with all my might, because I still would feel lingering pain from it. So I think about a year and maybe a year and 2 months it healed up perfectly where I'm not feeling it anymore, and I could go all out, throw a little bit more haymakers. But the point I want to make there is that you cannot bend your wrist in a 50-degree angle. It's not possible. And the reason why it's not possible is because we wrap our hands to make sure we don't flex the ulna and we don't flex the wrist at a high rate, so we don't break our hands or break the bones inside of our hands and our knuckles. So that's why we wrap our hands and keep it straight. And this is why we wear our gloves. The gloves actually help to limit the mobility in the wrist, so it keeps the wrist in a very, very straight manner. I already covered a video on that on my YouTube channel. And not to mention, we actually put a tape over the glove. So how can you actually bend your wrist in a 50-degree angle? It does not make any sense. Unless Tyson Fury is Mr. Fantastic Four, what's the guy name? The rubber man, or he's a part of the gum and gum. He ate the gum and gum and all me fruit. He doing the Gatling guy. Come on, guys, that's some anime shit for your wrist to be bending in a 50-degree angle. What type of weight do you have inside of the gloves, in my opinion, for it to perform and operate in that manner? Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter what nobody tell me from here on then. There's no way I can look at Tyson Fury and call him a true champion. It doesn't matter if he wins the third fight. It doesn't matter if he loses the third fight. I can never look at him and call him a true champion. Because I know, based on what I know now, this is just my opinion. You cannot, once you put your hands in those gloves and you actually wrap your hands and you put your hands in the right position, and we know his hands was not in the right position because of what Ricky Hatton stated, that Tyson Fury came over to him and told him to pull his glove off, which means his hands was not in the glove completely. So if Tyson Fury trainer actually said that, it means that there was something going on in that corner. This is just my opinion on it. Now, what I want you guys to understand with the media is that they cover these story of the fighter who's actually, saying something as, somebody has done harm to him. And every one of these commentators and big media personnel actually have a biased opinion on the matter, and they actually tarnish, all of the ESPN commentators and media personnel tarnished Deontay Wilder's claim. They completely tarnished it. And most of these guys are fighters, and these guys know your gloves cannot operate in that manner. They know it because they're fighters. You know what I mean? They did it all, and they wrapped their hands before, and they know once you wrap your hands in that type of wrapping, that cast wrapping, where they wrap it with a cotton and then they tape it down, you cannot flex your wrist in that manner. It's almost like you wrap your hands in a cast. That's how straight your hands and your wrist is gonna be. So they know it, and they actually tarnished Deontay Wilder's claim. And at the same time, if you look at the scenario, not one of these guys opposed and said, you know what, I think something is wrong with the gloves. Because they have to make sure they have the best interest of the company and the company's party. Do y'all catching on? All right, let's look at the word cover. Let's get into the word cover, and I'm gonna show you guys and a little bit more. And this is why I always tell my homies, I say, y'all need to have 2 dictionaries. You need to have a Black Law dictionary in your household, and y'all need to have one of those big Webster dictionary. And the heavier, the better. If you can find one for 10 pounds, buy that one. That's gonna be the good one. So let's take a look at the word cover here, and I'm gonna give you guys the definition of cover. All right, here we go. And I'm just gonna read the top 2 so you guys can understand, and then I'm gonna read the media, and then I'm gonna read the sports definition. It said, these are the verbs. It said to put something on top or in front. This is the verb. To put something or on top or in front of something, especially in order to protect or conceal it. You know what I mean? If I wanted to conceal conceal my homie, I would just, you know what I mean, I would just jump in front of the situation and say, yo, he's not around here. I would just protect him. You know what I mean? Next, it says second, extend over an area. And now we say a thing which lies on, over, or around something, especially in order to protect or conceal it. And the second one for the noun is a physical shelter or protection sought by people in danger. Now, here's the media definition. The media definition says investigate, report on, or publish, broadcast pictures of an event. That's the media definition. But take a look at the sports definition here. It says, and this is a verb, it said in team games, take up a position ready to defend against an opposing player. Now, think about it. Deontay Wilder is actually opposing everything a fighter is supposed to do. He's actually going against the promotional company, and Bob Arum is not happy with him. He pretty much stated that. And he's actually going against it. And a lot of people is saying this is disrespectful for him to actually come out and actually claim that he was robbed. So he's not playing along to get along, and he was willing to actually went to court with the whole situation. So he's not playing along at all. So he would, in my opinion, this definition make a perfect sense of what's actually going on. He's not going along to get along with these guys. If you understand the scenario, what's going on here. Now, isn't it funny? Think about it. Let's take a look at the ESPN commentator. And in my opinion, this is my opinion, Stephen A is one of the worst commentators ever. And if you look at the scenario, he works for the same company who is covering the story of Tyson Fury. And he actually said, and Stephen A can't box for shit. He don't know shit about boxing. Can't do shit. Can't even throw a fucking jab. But let's keep it clean. He stated that, Deontay Wilder is just making phony accusations. But isn't it ironic that the company that he works for is the company that keep coming out with the same whole catalog of commentators and media personnel to actually tarnish Deontay Wilder's story, in my opinion. The Wards, the Bradleys, the Bispins, the Atlas, and Atlas used to work for ESPN, which means to me, in my opinion, he probably have a dog in that fight. Come on, man, y'all got to think about a situation here. Now, if the fans are willing to clean up the sport of boxing, then we could start with a whole thing. It's not just about blacks or black people in the sport of boxing. It's about saying the truth on what's going on. They gotta clean up the sport. Look at the guy that died in the ring the other day, Preacher Colin. And this guy died because a referee failed to actually stop the fight, because this guy, the other guy that was doing rabbit punches, and he killed the kid in the ring. And he's not banned. Nobody's saying anything. That, in my opinion, that referee should never ever walk into a ring again. Should be the last time somebody see him in the ring. That's how I see it. That's just my opinion on it. And nobody's actually saying anything. See? And I told you guys, it's about lowering these guys' contract so they could actually keep on fighting it. And it also affects their legacy. If you have these people keep downing them and saying they're not nothing and they're not doing anything productive, then it's going to make the whole people who's watching the media actually think the same way, even though they don't understand how the sport operates. I hope you guys are seeing the point in the direction in which the story is going. Preacher Colin died in the ring, and because of an illegal punch. And nobody actually thought that the guy who actually killed him supposed to be fined. And the referee is gonna still be a part of the boxing commission. Come on, man, y'all. It's not about. I told you, Deontay Wilder is just the icing on the cake. He's just scratched the surface, and he was saying, "I'm drowning," and he put his hands up, and a bunch of people saw that he was drowning and actually extended his arm to him, and now he's actually seeing it. You know what I mean? But he needs more hands. You look at the scenario, it makes perfect sense, because when he actually cried out, there's a saying: if it hurts, you're supposed to squeal. So somebody could understand that you're hurting. Else nobody will actually understand what's going on. So it makes perfect sense for him to actually come on and say, yo, something is wrong with Tyson Fury gloves. And if you look at the whole scenario again, Tyson Fury actually postponed the fight. And remember, the last time he postponed the fight and then came back, he had what? What in his veins? Substance that was not supposed to be in his veins at that particular after his fight. So this guy has a history of doing illegal stuff in the sport of boxing, in my opinion, and nobody's actually checking him for it. And there's record of it. And we're supposed to accept the person who's doing wrong over the person who's actually doing right. Do y'all get where this is going? Just because we favor this guy. What happened about make the best man win? And follow the rules and follow the regulation of the sport. That went through the window. Because this is what we want. We want the favor because of favoritism, See, it's good. And one of the best thing I always say is good when we have these this recording device, so we actually can see things for ourselves. And it actually, because cameras can't lie. You know what I mean? Cameras cannot lie. So it's good when somebody have a camera. And this is one of the main reasons, I tell you guys, this is one of the main reasons why they don't want you guys to go in there and take your high-tech camera towards the ringside. You got to get a pass and all these type of stuff, especially in a professional fight. They hate when you have a high-tech camera and you're sitting at the ringside and you don't have a professional, have one of their passes or one of their grants that they give out to you. No, y'all get it? Because they're trying to cover themselves and our lives. I told y'all, man, this is I'm somebody that know about the sport of boxing. This is all I watch. That's all I watch. Anybody can ask you and tell you, this is all I watch. Boxing, boxing, boxing. So they can't talk about these. They can't fool me with these casual lines. I had somebody telling me about on my channel that beverage, a water can actually have bubbles inside of it. Are you stupid, bro? Like, waters don't have bubbles inside of it, especially if it's uncontaminated water. The only way a water is actually gonna have bubbles floating around in there if the water is contaminated. It's that simple. Come on, man. And they come out with these scenarios, they come out with these little trolls on the channel to actually steer you away from the point and hoping you get discouraged and not putting out more stories on the matter. That's how they do it, because they have a whole team over there. They have a gang, they have a team over there. And I know they're watching my videos, because at the end of the day, I used to can promote the videos on Instagram. I can't promote none of the videos that I'm talking about Tyson Fury and Wilder. I can't promote none of them. And I used to have another promotion on one of my videos that I was not talking about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, and they took that promotion off of it. So I know they're watching my videos. Come on, somebody has to see it that's in that realm. The video have almost 70,000 views on it. So I know somebody actually saw it. And it's buzzing. Trust me, it's buzzing. Shout out to all the people who are sharing that video. You know what I mean? It's time we actually start talking about scenarios that doesn't sit right with us and have a voice. This is the problem. They don't want you to have a voice, and you can analyze the situation for yourself. So they keep putting people in front of you so can talk to you, keep on drilling these messages inside of your head so you can't think for yourself. This is common sense. Your wrist cannot bend in a 50-degree angle. It's impossible. If it does bend in a 50-degree angle, then it's broken. And if it's broken, you cannot fight through that pain. Unless you're on some type of substance. That's the only way you're going to fight through a broken wrist, the pain of a broken wrist, and keep on fighting. You're actually going to show signs that your wrist is actually broken. So there's no way you can flex your wrist in a 50-degree angle. It's impossible. That's right there should set it all. That's enough for you to actually go ahead and say, yo, if I'm the head personnel that analyze and is responsible for, situations in boxing, then I would actually say, yo, let me see them gloves. Let me take a look at these gloves. But if you look at it, they don't want to have nothing to do with the glove, and they don't want to confiscate this glove, because if they do find evidence on it that the gloves is actually tampered with, in my opinion, I believe it is. If they do find evidence on it, guess what? It's going to look bad on them. So they rather leave it alone and actually act and pretend like there's no proof. Yo, I tell you, man, y'all gotta be slick with these guys and watch them, bro. They come up there every day and they try to keep a straight face and lie to us. And we're supposed to accept it. Like we can't think for ourselves. And when we do start thinking for ourselves, they send these trolls after us to actually discourage us from thinking for ourselves. Yo, this is funny, man. You look at the whole scenario, how they try to play this game with you, like you're not supposed to think for yourself and have different opinions on a situation. So your opinions should not be the most sensible one. If you're looking for the most sensible opinion that is out there, they try to steer you away from the sensible opinion. I told y'all, man, I know about boxing. I know what I'm talking about here. And I already said it. Remember, I told you guys before, even in my last video, before Tyson Fury pulled out of the fight, I told y'all, in my opinion, I believe Deontay Wilder actually got paid and he's not promoting the fight. And Tyson Fury needs to promote the fight to make more money. And he actually stated that he's not getting enough fan base to actually, to keep the fight in UK, which means he's not getting a lot of money based on the promotion of the fight. And he's already down in the hole. And this is just my opinion on it. Because if somebody take you through arbitration, guys, is a lawsuit. It's not as simple as you guys look at it. Oh, I just take it to arbitration and I can fight. No, it's a lawsuit, which means damages will be paid out to the victim. What are the damages? I can't speak on what the damages is. You know what I mean? And once they get paid out, these guys are going to be locked into a gag order. They cannot speak on it because they have received lump sum. Because they have received lump sum, one party cannot speak about the direct the direct part of the situation, because he can damage the other person's reputation and they can turn around and countersue. And this is the reason why they have the Deontay Wilder. It's just not speaking on that part of the situation because he already received a grant. He already received damages. Come on, man. Y'all need to catch on quick. You have to look at these sports. You can't listen to these big media corporations. You got to look into it from your point and take the most sensible part out of the situation, because they're up there to tell us how to think, even when what they're talking is nonsense. In my opinion, Stephen A. Smith is one of the worst commentators I've ever seen. He don't know nothing about sports, in my opinion. Nothing. He don't know nothing about boxing, and he don't know nothing about basketball. He only go out there and make these players look bad and make them look like they cannot make a mistake. And when they do make a mistake, he go out there, curse them out, and he actually make this player look like idiots. And that's nothing to be funny about. Everybody can make mistakes and prone to make mistakes. And they go out there and they try to tarnish Deontay Wilder's claim on his situation, trying to tarnish his story. And they knew, and most of these hardcore, media personnel that's up there who were once boxers know your risk cannot perform like that. This is all I have for you today, guys. I'm out. I'm gonna make it. I don't like to do long videos. I'm gonna try to do maybe start stepping it up to maybe an hour or so, but I'm not generally I generally don't like doing long videos. However, this was half an hour, close to half an hour, because someone asked me to put out a video, some videos that are a bit more longer, so I tried it. This is what I got for y'all today. Hope y'all have a good one. Peace.